So don't forget, recording in progress.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Hello.
she's our new treasurer.
Wow.
Not yet. Yeah.
I read on the internet that we're expecting a snowstorm soon,
Yeah,
How soon? and
few
how much?
inches.
like real soon. My daughter in Grand Rapids said it's snowing out there. They already have a couple inches.
Gotta
They
get the
say
boots
they could
out.
get 16 inches in the Grand Rapids.
Oh
What?
my gosh.
That's the
What's
parts
the
of Grand
prediction for
Rapids.
here?
well, they don't know yet. Hey, it's a really crazy storm that's coming. It's going to hit all the Great Lake area.
Oh, crap. I just got the motorhome back tonight. I was hoping to be on the road again tomorrow, but that's not gonna happen.
Well, wait and see. You never know.
I
And
understand my daughter in the she lives in the Cleveland area, and I guess she's expecting measurable snow
Yeah.
tonight also.
Oh, no place is worse than Cleveland when it gets to snowing.
Well, she's east, so she gets a little lake effect.
I drove out east to a job in the fall. It was late November. And I went through Cleveland, and honest to God, it was snowing snowballs. That lake effect is just incredible.
Yeah, it's something else.
I hope it's over by Thanksgiving for all the travelers.
Right.
So Linda, are
Yeah.
you you're going to be the treasurer coming up?
Yes, and I guess that also means membership. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping to take all of that over from Jerry. I told him I can't deal with it till after the holiday. So in January, we'll set something up and
You bet.
peaceful transition of power.
So is that a warning that I better pay my dues before
Yeah.
you take over?
Yeah, I'm not as nice as Jerry. I'm not as patient. We'll see.
Whoops, got more people coming. Tom Pinar.
I texted Ann McCutcheon. I didn't get anything back, so I'm not sure where she is.
She's going to see Hamilton.
Oh, well,
And
that's
so she
fun.
asked me to record it.
Okay. And I thought Ann Berry was coming, but
She sent pictures.
okay.
Oh, good.
I know her house is under renovation, so who knows?
Oh, that can be fun. Here comes
Right.
Mr. Hagopian. Nancy Sloan said she was going to try and make it tonight, but she always gets people that interrupt her. I don't know if she sells out of her house or what.
Are Keith and Doug still in New Zealand?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Springtime there. It's almost summer.
They'll come back with a million good pictures.
I liked your black and white or your infrared photos, Bob, last week.
Oh, thanks. I
Yeah.
posted a half a dozen of them tonight.
I like the colorization you did to them too.
Yeah, that was an intense amount of work on my part.
Oh,
I used to use the colorize filter.
yeah.
Oh,
As I was telling the other day, I'm really sloppy about editing stuff like that. I just slam through it, whereas you carefully make layers and do the right thing.
yeah. Well,
I've got my entire computer room completely ripped apart, so I'm going to start over and reorganize everything. Got a new computer coming here in 3 weeks. We'll wait a few minutes for people.
Okay.
Yeah, I started building a new storage array. My old one, the company went belly up. And I've got to get the stuff off of there before the thing dies. So I put 108 terabytes into one box and it's grinding away. It'll take a couple, 3 more days.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
easier just to have a bunch of hard drives.
The difference is speed and ease.
Well, if anyone doesn't know, I judged the print competition, what was it, last Wednesday? For the council
Oh, council.
with,
Cool.
I'm trying to remember what's Ben's last name?
Don't know.
And Bill Buchanan?
Yeah.
Okay, so the three of us were judging quite a few pictures we had to go through. Took about 5 hours. Good stuff, really good stuff.
It's nice to look at the prints,
Yep.
see the clarity and the colors are better.
And I haven't seen you in a while.
I've been in the UK
Ah,
since September, the last week of September through, we got home November 7th.
Okay. That's probably why.
Yeah,
So I suppose you got a million new pictures.
well, I don't know about a million, but it was a awesome place to take photos. So I have some that are edited. I'm sharing some of them tonight,
Okay.
but I have a lot more to edit. If I wasn't as old as I was, I'd be going back there soon, but I have too many other bucket list places to go to.
Oh, I installed my new Mac Studio combination, so if I look like I'm higher resolution, that's the reason. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but right. Bob gets his when, next week?
Well, I've got the monitor right now, but the studio box will be right after Thanksgiving.
Now, I mentioned at club that I had heard from Ron Wangaro. I don't know, Gary, if that information was passed on to you. I reached out to him to see how he was doing, and he responded, he's not doing great. He's not been able to put on any weight, and because of that, I think he's about 40 pounds underweight. He is not able to continue with any kind of treatment. So they have him in hospice care. It's not necessarily end of life care, it's more palliative care. So if he is able at some point to start gaining some weight and getting a little stronger, they'll continue with some treatments. But as of right now, that just isn't possible. So,
Okay.
Sorry to hear that.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it's pancreatic too. Couldn't be much worse.
Yeah, awful.
Well, we should start showing off our pictures. There's not a lot, but
Yeah, and I was telling Gary earlier, the club never has the second meetings in November and December. So I understand people are busy and stuff. Maybe we should not have one next month. What do you think?
For this group,
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Whatever the group decides.
yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me
but
too.
You're busy during Christmas and stuff.
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
we'll have a house full of company.
yeah, we can meet again in January. That'd be good.
Okay. Well, let's get started. It might be a short meeting.
Okay, I will take the screen. This is all new computer stuff, so we'll hope it's going to work correctly. You see bridge?
Yes,
Oh, good, that's working. Now, what's this called, Bob, when you slide your
Oh,
cursor?
that's
Stage manager?
Stage Manager. That's a new feature.
Yeah, for those of you who don't have Ventura, this is one of the new features where you can have as many screens open as you like. And if you slide over, you'll see the other screens there and you can click like back and forth
Mm.
and jump between screens. Starting to get used to it and I like it. So we'll see.
I was telling Gary the other day, one of the new features I discovered by accident with the Macs on the latest operating system, any Mac device on the same network, you can set up to have multiple displays and you can switch your cursor seamlessly between the various computers or iPads, and you can drag and drop files between them.
I'm not sure.
Oh.
It's too easy.
Okay, I'm not sure how you do that again, but I won't demonstrate it. Let's see.
Yeah, some of these, the people saw at club the other night. This is, of course, the state capital of Texas, and I didn't have a lot of time to shoot down there, but I did a little bit of Texas and San Antonio and San Antonio Riverwalk, and then, of course, here the Capitol. So I just tried different things.
really
That
like
looks nice in infrared and, this is pretty too.
And this
Mhm.
is infrared, and then I took the Adobe Neural engine and did the colorize. So the colors come from Adobe.
Nice. I like
So-
that.
Anne, this is the one, I don't know if you remember, Anne, that I mentioned to you. It has a very French feel.
Yes, yeah,
I found very appealing.
yeah, I like this with this colorization. It's very nice.
Mhm.
And this is down in San Antonio at the Riverwalk. The boats that are going through, there's one coming at the end. The Indian community had about 15 or so boats on the Riverwalk, and they were doing the Diwali festival. So they were rocking pretty hard.
Did you take this with a wide angle?
I took everything I'm trying to think. I think most of these were done with 35 millimeter.
'Cause for me, the foreground just seemed a little bit strong on that one.
It might have been a 2470. And I think I cropped some off the left of this one.
Oh, that's nice.
This one I did at the Edison. As you can tell, I got on a kick to finally use my infrared camera. So this is a Greenfield Village. One of the times when somebody's playing the Edison organ.
I like his reflection in the
Yeah,
green floor.
it's nice.
And this was also at the Old Car Festival. Just some of them. And the infrared gives you a different look. Sometimes it
Mhm.
works and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, you have a lot of trees in that picture, so that came
I know.
out nice.
Now, here's the side yard of the Capitol in Texas. And again, I colorized with Adobe.
Is that statue of Remington?
No, but it looks very much like it could be a Remington. It's a big one.
Why were you in Texas?
Oh, I had a grandson that's in a band, his high school band, and he had 6 competitions in about a 10-day period. So we went down to watch them. Hadn't been involved in bands very much lately, and I didn't realize how incredible they are.
Yeah.
They ended up winning state, but they were also in the
Nice.
Bands of America contest in the Alamo Dome, where 80 bands competed. But their band, we're talking a high school band, had several cars, 3 straight trucks, a semi truck, and 9 buses to carry the band.
Yeah.
Gee,
400 members.
Mhm.
Wow.
And
Wow.
they are great. Here's the, by the way, if you haven't
We're
never
having
been,
fun.
if you've never been to San Antonio, there is a river walk, you see it here. It goes all the way through the downtown area. And it's really pretty cool. And it's been there since 1940, in that time frame.
Hmm.
So here's the two of the Indian boats getting together. So I guess you would call that river or street photography, not sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here's another bunch coming around the corner,
Huh.
and they were loud.
Mhm.
What were they celebrating?
Diwali, it's a Indian holiday. There's the colorized version.
Hmm.
I like it in the color.
This was one at Old Car Festival, and the car behind is a deep yellow. And I just played with the sliders a bit and got the sky dark. There's some guys simulating cannon fire at Greenfield Village. And that's the Space Needle in San Antonio from the World's Fair. I think it
Nice
is.
how you framed it. I like how you
Yeah.
framed it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Making
actually for a
pictures.
change thought about framing it like that. That's the color version, but still in infrared. This is just from the train, moving train at Greenfield.
That's pretty sharp. You were on a moving train. Oh, one of the
Yeah.
steep. Wow. Good shutter speed, I guess.
Well, it's an old camera, but been converted.
Yeah, those are all nice, Bob.
Thanks. Wow, this is
This one, I was just playing around, and I used the landscape mixer in Camera Raw, and I took a background. It was a gradient background, and I did a twirl on it, and then I just mixed it with a landscape mixer in it, and it's kind of weird, isn't it? That's, you can really get some fantastic effects out of that landscape mixer.
I
What
just
is,
used it
what
once.
is that?
That
Where is Landscape Mixer?
that's in Adobe
Neural filters.
It's a
neural
neural
filters.
filter.
Yeah, it's not raw. It's neural filter.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I think maybe I went back and did the colorize, the neural filter colorize. on
Yeah,
it.
it does.
Yeah, but anyway, it was such a weird effect and everything. I just thought I'd show you kind of crazy stuff that you could come up
Tom,
with.
how does that work? Is it essentially meshing two landscape photos together and then doing stuff to it?
Yeah, but I just had one landscape photo, and then I mixed it with a background
Okay,
that it was just a gradient that I put, what is it? The distort filter. You go into twist. So I
okay.
twisted it, and that's why the clouds got all kind of swirly looking, and yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff in there, but I just thought it was an interesting thing. I thought you might like to
Yeah,
take a look at that.
I've looked at some of those filters too, and some of them, your photo really comes out pretty wild looking, but you
It
can
sure does.
you can reduce the opacity
Mhm.
and blend the two together, and you can get a lot nice, nice looking picture.
Yeah.
Remember the
Between
old
the two.
days when we didn't use neural filters?
Yeah. So, oh, this was up at Kensington, or not Kensington, Stony Creek.
Oh,
Mm.
no.
Fog day.
We had those foggy days back a week or two ago.
Nice.
And that was, what is that? Winter Cove Picnic Area, I think it was.
That curvy
tree.
tree, really just a nice job.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
nice.
The picnic table.
And same day, same weather, just, just looking at a different slant on things here.
Yeah, I like it.
I really liked that one. The upper leaves reminded me of a curtain being lifted.
Mhm.
Tree to take the
Yeah, yeah.
stage.
I like that perspective there.
Yeah, thank you. And that foggy morning, I got up and I walked out of the garage. I was gonna drive around, see what I could see, and I looked over and looked at my neighbor's house and just wanted to check and see what kind of settings I had. So I just snapped that picture. And later on, I was going through them that afternoon, and I thought, well, that looks kind of neat. He must have a tungsten light in his outdoor light there, I guess. So,
It's really a nice moody.
yeah,
Mhm.
I like those kind of photos.
yeah.
I like that too. But was
Ooh, I
that,
like this too.
That's the east parking structure. I don't know if you're familiar with it in downtown Rochester. I don't know. It would have been nice to have somebody inside that building.
Oh,
Somebody
but
doing.
added, but still, I like them. I love the mood with the fog. This
Yeah.
is nice. The way you got the lights and everything in there.
Mhm. Yeah, I had to do a little bit, and this is just kind of, I don't know, something I like. Just urban grunge,
Mhm.
parking
So
garage, kind of.
was that a treatment or did you have the DTs?
Oh, yeah, that was kind of the idea. I'm looking at that, and I remember back in maybe my late teens, early 20s, I was kind of in that state a lot. Coming down a stairway in a parking garage somewhere. So I I blurted up and that and changed things around. But now this, I kind of included that because Gary and I took almost the same shot. And I just thought I'd put this in for contrast to show, how two
I
different
think that's
photographers see the scene comes out different.
this
So
reminds me so much of the Dutch painters.
yeah, it does, like
Yeah, the
Hudson River School or something like that.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I
No,
love,
I-
I like the shadows. I do.
I like the colorization. It's
Yeah.
nice.
You know
always
what?
liked-
You know what I did? I kind of really underexposed it a lot. I wasn't paying too much attention to my settings and that, and I got back and I opened it up in RAW and I looked at it and just for the heck, because it was so hazy and foggy that day, and I just threw the haze filter over all the way to the right, and that popped up, and I thought, well, gosh, I'm going with that.
Tom, I always like the white borders except on this one.
Mhm.
That is such a neat picture in the center. The white does actually bother me.
The white does bother you?
Yeah, on this one,
Yeah.
even though I included on all my pictures, that is such a cool shot.
Well, what would you do for a border?
I don't know.
Maybe reduce the opacity on the border so you can see some of the background
Yeah,
through it.
Mm-hmm.
that might be fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Take that into. Yeah, I've been kind of wondering about borders somewhat. They can really change. They can change the picture. They can make things look a little darker because they're so bright. If you have a wide white border, I noticed that.
Well, if you just had a line that was the shape of the outer edge of the image,
Oh yeah.
but the image went all the way to the edge, so you didn't see the white border,
Uh-huh.
but you saw that line, that might be an interesting way to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that picture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So. Oh, I took that a long time ago, about 2016. And I think it was a couple weeks ago, Gary had a picture of George Tice with a gas station. And I kind of thought, well, I got a gas station picture I took way back about 6 years ago. And I thought maybe I would revisit that. And so I kind of worked that over, black and white and this sort of a muted color version of it.
So did it take you a long time to spray all that concrete?
Mhm.
No, it was a rainy day that day. I think it
I
was.
like how you finished that.
And
Oh,
that is just just some urban abstract stuff from Detroit. I don't even know what building it is. Might be the Penobscot. or- I have
That's
no
really
idea.
cool.
yeah,
I
it
love
is.
that. I love
Yeah.
the colors. It's just,
Certainly draws your eye to the
Well.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with those things. And this is a kind of a thing I've been working on with these rectangles and that, and just thought I'd kind of show you what I've been trying to perfect a process here. And I've done quite a few of these, and this one I kind of like real well. I like the colors in there. My wife likes colors too.
This really reminds me of Air Force combat fatigues. They're
Huh.
blue with squares for camouflage.
Mhm. Yeah.
Looks like a lot of work, Tom.
Yeah.
yeah.
It is. Yeah. There's a
Or
bit
do you
of
have a
Well
brush
done.
that splatters boxes around?
Yeah, I made up a brush. I got a couple of brushes, and then I do some drop shadows and some inner shadows, and I get the brush settings so that as every time I click the brush, it'll change its size slightly,
Ah.
and it'll change its opacity and that. So that saves some time.
Wow.
That's about it.
Nice stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, real nice.
Shobha, I see you joined.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Oh, Linda.
Some of, I just submitted kind of a hodgepodge of things from different places. This was from the rainforest, and the bird is not super sharp, but I like the artfulness of the image. I think, Anne, you have something really similar.
Yeah, I do. And I'm like you, Linda. To me, it doesn't always have to be sharp. This is artsy and I like it.
Yeah, me
Very
too.
nice.
Yeah.
And the colors, the bird just is right on with the
Mhm.
wings and stuff, so. I thought I'd share that with the group. That's Anne. And this is a little flycatcher, and apparently they're attracted to the lenses of cameras. Not really sure why, but he certainly was.
Wow.
Yeah, he went to Linda's too.
Yeah,
That's quite
A
the
couple
shot.
times, didn't he, Linda?
yeah, yeah. But I was glad I got this picture.
Yeah, me too. Thank you
Turned
for sharing
nicely,
that
yeah.
with me.
That's all right.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
That's the same bird, but in the tree, and
Mhm.
wasn't great, but I don't know. I have a hard time just dismissing my images. I always feel like they could be saved somehow.
So, did you use
Yeah,
an
when they're
action?
not perfect, you put them into an art form like this.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah, it
I like
does.
that.
Mhm.
Did you use an action on that?
So I did a watercolor action, then I used, so one of the questions I was going to ask you guys is because if I go into 8 bits, like there's a mode or something, and if you go into 8 bits, you can get different filters,
Yeah.
Yes.
Photoshop,
Show
and
the
then
gallery.
color filter.
Mhm.
So I used a little of that, and then I used my brushes, and I used a textured background and layers and blending and opacities, all those things. I did a little tiny bit of painting, but I didn't really do a whole lot. But I wanted to ask, what is the difference between 8 bits and 16 bits? Like, is that a good idea to do that? I don't know.
In the old days, not that many years ago, 8-bit was about all you had to work with. And the most common nowadays is 16. And there is 32-bit as well.
What does that even mean, though? I don't know.
Well, that 32-bit, it's the number of colors. So for example, an 8-bit image has a few thousand shades, whereas 16-bit has, I don't know, millions, and 32-bit, I think, has billions of colors and shades.
Okay,
So you can
so
get
when,
a lot more detail and you can get a lot more subtle tonality.
Yeah, so you can't use that filter gallery unless you switch over to 8-bit.
okay.
And I
so
think
is-
the reason is some of those filters just take forever. And I can imagine if you got a bigger file with a 16-bit, you might be there all night long waiting for it
Okay.
to render. So I think that, I'm not sure, but I think that's why those more involved
filters,
you have to
Yeah.
go to 8-bit in order to get your.
And that would make sense, especially back 4, 5, 6 years ago. Computers just didn't have the power the new ones have.
okay, so in a sense, you might be sacrificing some of the.
Well, you can change it back after you're done with the filter. You can change it back. You know, you
Well,
could have
here's
done
one
your
thing to
other
keep-
stuff in there too.
8-bit is what you submit all images to Club. 8-bit's what you submit to printing for the most part. And what I was trying to get at Club the other night was HDR is coming more and more and more. It's been slowly coming over the last few years, but those tend to be 16 and 32-bit with literally billions of shades and colors and much, much more dynamic range. So, you know, it's just, you do what you can do with the technology when you got it.
Mhm.
That's a
So
great.
anyway, this is
Looks
the
great.
watercolor. Thank you. With that watercolor, though, I almost always have to hand paint the eyes. It just doesn't,
Mhm.
and it messes, I don't know.
Got just the right catchlight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looked real.
thank you. This was in Reykjavik, and this, I had noticed this window and I liked how it was sort of harmonious with colors. So I just kind of waited for the right person to enter into the scene, and I liked how he was still in the same color tones. And that's that one.
You weren't tempted to switch him to orange?
I didn't know, I wanted him to stand out a little bit, so kept him yellow. And this one, Anne had shown a similar image of the woman sitting.
Mhm.
And this is like after she noticed Anne taking her picture, and she's actually like chewing Anne out. But I thought it was funny because this couple walking by clearly think she's like, talking,
Right.
And
Looking
they
at
don't know
them saying
what-
something, right?
like, what the heck? I just thought it was a cute moment. But yeah, she was not happy that taking her picture. And this was in the Faroe Islands.
Yeah, I remember them kids.
Yeah, they were waiting for the waves to come in, and
Yeah.
how all three of them are so expectant. And
That's a
I
good.
went
show.
with, yeah, I like that dream, especially with children. I tend to like that hazier, dreamier, high key-ish look. So,
I like that one.
gosh, I'm not sure why I brought,
This was in club, right, Linda?
yeah,
And I like it.
Yeah, that's great.
I love this.
Yeah.
I don't think I meant to submit this one, but yeah, that's my kitty. Oh, I will say, one of the assignments for next year is a black subject, a subject that's actually black in color. And I have found photographing her that there's a challenge to it to bring out enough details so you can see what she is and define certain parts of her, but you know, there's still bits that are completely lost. I personally think that's okay. I don't know what people's other opinions are, but
It's helpful if the animal has a shiny coat.
Yeah.
some light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
catch the light.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's enough detail in your black cat to see her features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This I took in Hawaii, and I had noticed this industrial site, and it was very color harmonious. And I wanted to, I took this quite a while ago, and I wanted to get kind of, that industrial look, but I couldn't get as close as I wanted. It ended up being rather difficult to get near. But in the end, I just kind of toned the greens. My goal here was just to make it very harmonious in terms of color tones. This was the dog, and I don't know, I just really like this picture. I like the softness, and
Hmm.
he's looking out at the water.
So for fine art, this works. If you were trying to submit it in nature, they really knock it down because you're not seeing the face.
Yeah, I guess it would be a color image, right? Because he's a dog. But yeah, I don't know how it would do in club. I like it. It's not blown out. But it is a,
That's nice.
exposed
Mhm.
image.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. And then I think, Gary, I sent you another group.
Yeah, those are in here in the,
Yeah. And then this was an image. Oh, so they're kind of all out of order. So maybe what I wanted to do is explain how I did the image. So I would have to start with the very first thing I did, which was make the puzzle out of wood. This was for the triangle assignment. So can you go to that image or no?
Ah,
let's see, which,
See the little wooden cat all the way over to the right? Yeah. So these are the tangram puzzles, and I like doing these. And we had the assignment of triangles, and I thought, oh, this would be kind of different. I wanted to do something a little outside the box. And so I created this cat, and then I made it black. It just turned it black and white. So I think I included that image somewhere where it's just black and white. Yeah. And the grain and everything showed up nicely. So then I selected the cat out and made it darker. And that's the first image you had shown, just that's that one. So then I darkened it, selected it out. And then I needed to put the cat somewhere. So I took a picture of my chair, which I'm actually sitting in right now. And then I took a picture. You can actually leave the whole, yeah, it might be easier. So I took a picture of the chair, and then I took a picture of the corner without the chair, which allowed me to take the back off of the chair and just create a stool. And took the cat that I selected and set it on top of the stool, which is,
You put a lot of work in that.
I
Yeah.
know I did, and
Nice.
it didn't go over very well. I was so disappointed. But anyway, after I put the cat on the stool, then I used Topaz 2 to get that outline. I think it was the burn filter, and it gave me the outline of the cat to give it a more graphic image, and it just helped sort of tie everything together. So then using the blending modes and all that, I ended up with the final image, which is that third one in. So if you want to show that one, that's fine. But that's the final image.
Well, that works. That's fine.
Yeah, it came out real nice, Linda. A lot of work,
Yeah.
but it was worth it because it came out very nice.
I love it. I actually,
Yeah.
I'm going to hang it in this room because it,
Good, good.
I think it's, and I have a black cat, so
Mm-hmm,
so it works.
perfect.
Yeah, the outline really defines the
Yeah.
picture, I think.
Yeah, I
It
think
really
it
makes
helps
it,
tie it all
Brings it
together.
Yeah.
Right.
it does.
But
Well, that's nice.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so these are from my recent UK trip. I've picked kind of two categories to show you tonight. Some are what I call more minimalist photos that I took, and the other have to do with light. So this is one of the more minimalist, not real minimal, but we were staying in Keswick, and we had a plan that day. We were going to go I was gonna do some woodland photography, but when I peeked outside at 5 in the morning, there was mist. And I said, oh my God, there's mist. We have to change plans. So we didn't know where to go because, I mean, I had a few days with a photographer, but this was one of many days I didn't. So we just decided to go to the closest area we knew there was a boat landing in Keswick. And didn't really know where to go from there, but saw some other photographers. So we just followed them. And we didn't start out in this area, but anyway, it was awesome because the mist must have lasted at least 3 hours.
Mm.
It was really incredible. It was something I had waited for. We were in the UK for 42 days, and this was probably the 38th day. So all those days I waited for mist and I finally got it.
This is, I know, Ann,
Nice.
it's been your goal for the water to blur right into the
Yeah,
sky.
didn't have to do it. I mean, didn't have to blur it. This is what it looked like.
Okay, but this is, you finally got your image.
Oh, yes, yeah. There was no definition at this time
Yeah.
between the horizon and the water.
Right.
I brightened it up a little bit, but still,
Good shot.
thank you. And now this is when the mist started to, reveal the landscape. And all these birds were sitting on the poles. And I just liked the image and the colors that were involved.
That's
Yeah, I love,
Good leading line.
that's really nice.
Keswick's on Windermere, isn't it?
This is not Windermere, no.
No,
This
Windermere.
is, Keswick is
North of Windermere.
northwest of Windermere.
Yeah, right. What is that
Hmm.
lake up there? Not Thirlmere.
Uh,
There's Thirlmere up in that area.
I'm not sure what Lake Keswick is. I think it could be Dentwater.
Oh, yeah,
Water.
might be,
There's Buttermere is a little distance away.
yeah.
In this image, this is one of the ones about light. And we had taken a steam train ride. We were staying in Whitby. And we took a steam train ride to a place called Grossmont. And then there's what they call a rail walk. And you walk, it's about 4 miles long. And you walk from Grossmont to Gothland. Gothland is the train station that was shown in Harry Potter.
Mhm.
And we walked from Grossmont to Gothland and then got back on the steam train back to Whitby. But on the walk, this was a scene that we came upon. And in the UK, I'm sure some of you have been there, but they get a lot of clouds. And the moments for sun could be seconds. And so you have to be ready real quick with your camera because what you see for 2 seconds is gone immediately. And this just happened. I was walking by and the light happened just to shine for that moment.
Boy, that's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Same thing again, light. This is a little place called, oh gosh, where is this now? I think I wrote it down so I couldn't remember. Runswick Bay, which is on the coast in the Yorkshire area, Northumberland, I mean. And we had gone to down this road earlier, and there was no light at all. And I had liked this little building. I think it might have been an old church or something. And I stopped and I took pictures of it, but it was, just an old building. There was no light, nothing, but I took it because I liked the building. And we went down a ways on the road. I got out and I was walking along the cliff's edge, looking out into the North Sea to see if there's anything to take. The light wasn't very good. As we were heading back out of the area, this light happened. And I told my husband, stop the car, and jumped out. And the difference between, I probably should have showed you the picture without the light. The difference is just incredible what light does. So just happened to be there at the right moment.
I love how the grass catches the light all the way down the road.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
your eye right out. Yeah.
And this was one of the days I was with a photographer guide. And he took us on some very challenging hikes. And this was one of them that we went to early in the morning. And there's a lot, this is in the Yorkshire Dales, and there's a lot of limestone. And this is the kind of fields you walk through. And the limestones have a lot of leading lines. There's always these gorgeous, cloudy, moody skies. Well, we waited over an hour for the light. We got our compositions, sat there and waited. And it was probably closer to about an hour and a half when the sun broke through the clouds and lit up the limestone to get this photo.
Mhm. I love that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Oh, this is good.
That's
Thank
beautiful.
you. So this is again in the Yorkshire Dales. And again, we waited for the light to hit that rock. This was closer to sunset. The other one was in the morning. And again, just looking down, into the valley. And, I looked because everywhere we were, I had been to the UK before in Cotswolds. And I was amazed then at their stone walls. But, after going through the Dales, I just don't know how those people made these walls. But I looked it up and there's over 5,000 miles of these stone walls in the UK. They're incredible and so picturesque, so picturesque.
Were you able to see Hadrian's Wall at all while you were?
No, we didn't have time.
Okay.
Yeah, we stayed on the coast. This is near Ambleside. And this is called Rydell Water. And we were walking one of the trails that day. And this was a day that, again, the clouds were very moody and the sun would break through for just a few seconds. And this is one of the pictures I got when the sun broke through. I also, this day, we had a couple rainbows. And I think I was telling Linda, I never saw more rainbows in my life than I saw in the UK. And I've been to Hawaii several times. One day we saw 5 rainbows in one day. It's crazy. Of course, very rarely was I ever in a place where I could get a good photograph. I was either inside my condo, in the car, or, or in a place where the landscape wasn't pretty. So, but anyway, this area here, Rydell Water, was very beautiful, very nice walk. You could spend days just in this one area. This is also it's in the area of Rydell Water. This is going up to the fell. And this is called the, I can't even say it. Well, anyway, it's a terrace going up to the fell. And it overlooks, you can't see it here because I wasn't high enough yet when I took it, but it overlooks a lake going into Grassmere. And again, this was all about the light when it just starts to pop out and hits part of the hillside. And this is one of my more minimalist pictures. It's in a place called Dunbar, which is in Scotland, in the border town of Scotland. And this is called A Bridge to Nowhere. And the bridge actually, this water happens when the tide comes in. When the tide goes out, it's all sand. And it's like, I can't even tell you, 6 football fields of sand. You don't even know that there's ever been water there. And it happens, two times a day. So the day before I took this, we had gone to see this bridge to nowhere, and I took a photo from a different angle. And I wasn't happy with it because I was taking it because it was at sunset and I wanted to get the sunset in. Well, the background was not good and didn't show this bridge. So I said, let's go back in the morning. So we go back in the morning and I went, where's the water? It was all sand. So we checked the tide times, and then I came back later that day and I took this photo. And this one I actually did blend together in Photoshop, the sky with the water.
Was this a long exposure, Anne?
Yes,
Thank you.
Mhm.
as was this. And this was this jetty is in Berwick-on-Tweed in Northumberland. And that jetty is a half a mile long. And we did go the next day and walk all the way out there. This is from the shore and long exposure. The clouds were really cool that day. I mean, they're kind of lenticular, kind of.
It's nice because you get the horizontal line.
Right.
Mhm. And this is in the same place as the jetty, just without the jetty in it, just a little bit of the shoreline. And I just wanted something very subtle and soft, kind of artistic.
Mhm. Nice.
Absolutely
Like a
beautiful.
really nice wall.
Mhm.
Relaxing.
Mhm. Yeah, that almost looks like graphic art.
Yeah.
Yeah, no art applied, just
Mhm.
just softening it. And this is going from Keswick to Buttermere. You have to go over this really high, steep pass. And once you get over the pass, shortly thereafter, there's a river to the right of the road. We pulled off. And again, I spent, I'd say, 2 hours here. And trying to figure out composition, because it's really difficult, because to me, the best composition was from the other side of the river, which you can't get to. And so I struggled with different compositions of the river and all that. And then the lighting, it was very overcast, and all of a sudden this happened. So
Those are incredible.
Yeah,
Okay.
very nice.
thank you.
All right. There was one thing that I forgot I was going to show this. And I'm going to have to transfer this now from my phone to the screen. I'm going to give this back to you for just a second, Bob, and then I'll come back, okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I won't take a thing.
I have a question for Ann.
Yeah.
In the picture of the field with the limestone, that
Mhm,
you said that you were walking through those areas,
mhm.
do you walk on top of the limestone or do you walk on the ground? It looks like that would be a little dicey.
Yeah, well, and those are like, you will have a large area of that, and then you'll just have a lot of grass with bumps, and so it's not even. So there'll be grass in a hole, grass in a hole. And basically, if I could walk on the limestone, I did. If they're too far apart or whatever, then you'd have to go in between and then go up on the limestone, back down. Yeah, some of the trails were challenging, but I enjoyed it. Because our guide was very accommodating, if we went a little slower than he did, because, he does this all the time. He was, gave us time to catch up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. All right. Let's see. So as I told some of you, I judged the photo competition, I think it was early last week, and there were 3 judges, and there were a lot of great prints. And I had taken a photo, or I asked Judy if I could take a picture of this print after, and she said, fine, it didn't win anything. Go ahead. And this is a photocopy. The print was absolutely pristine. It was just beautiful. And it came up, and we were supposed to judge between 5 and 9, of course. And to me, this was actually the only picture I gave a 9 to the entire day. And it scored 21, which meant the other 2 judges gave it a 6.
Mm,
Wow.
Wow.
Sheesh.
I'm in good company. Oh, gosh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's real. The colorization and everything is so nice
Yeah.
on
And when you're
Wes
judging, you're
Anderson's
not
symmetry.
supposed to say anything as you're judging. And I just turned to the other 2 judges, and I knew I couldn't say anything. And I just looked at them like, what? It just-
Yeah.
And apparently this is from a lady in Windsor, from the Windsor group. And by chance, the one of the people from the Windsor group was there, and I talked to him at lunchtime, and I introduced myself, and I said, and I showed him the picture, and I asked him, and he says, well, no, this took 27 points at our club. And I said, to me, this was one of the best pictures I've seen all day. And I just want you to tell the person, the photographer, that I said so, because she didn't win anything for this picture.
Hmm.
And I thought just, the colors, the composition, the print itself was beautiful.
I love that the photographer's in it,
Right.
you know?
There's a couple of people shooting there, but the coloration on the lady with the yellow dress, I just thought it was great. So the sad part about this is that the judges sometimes really don't appreciate urban landscape photography, street photography, and it's really a shame. I just
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't going to do any good to discuss it with the other judges because it was over, but I just felt sad.
I
Yeah.
find it interesting that the lower left quadrant in that picture could have just been isolated out by itself and would be a
Yeah.
lovely shot also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. it could
And
be.
that's a perfect example of a shot within a shot. And I know I wrestle with that with my photography, is to know where to crop. And sometimes there are multiple images.
Mhm.
you have to wonder if those judges were going, oh my God, there's a thing dead center, or the person's not on the thirds exactly,
Uh-huh.
some rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I was in 100% agreement with the other judges on many of the pictures, but
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
okay. Let's see, what else? Ron, I think last time you asked about the orthography adjustments,
Oh, yeah, I did. Right.
and I installed this new computer and I lost a lot of my presets, but I was able to get them back. So I'm going to do a quick explanation of how that works with, let me see if I can get something up real quick here. I'm just going to pick something at random here. Okay. I used, this is probably not a good picture. I'll just fix it real quick if I can. Okay.
Jeez.
Is that Hagopian in the middle?
Could be.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I use a filter called Topaz Studio for this, and I'm going to show you how that works. You can create looks, which I've done here, and I was able to recapture some of these and save them, which are different painterly-like apps. But the other way is to go into their filters, and they've got a whole set of different filters here that you can use. But the one that I use here is called Impressions. And when you open that up, there's a series of brushes that you can select from. It's a very complicated preset, and you can control the brush you're using, the number of strokes, the brush size, the paint volume. All of these things will change the picture based on that opacity, rotation, width, and you have to experiment with all these. Every camera is different. Every sensor is a little bit different. The size, the number of megapixels will all render differently with this. And, spill, stroke length, coverage, painting progress. There's one for colors to change how you use the different colors. Lighting, textures, you can do texture overlays, texture strengths, you can import strengths. Anyhow, the important part of this is how you blend this with your original, and you can change the opacity here inside of Topaz. And a lot of times these things come up, and I'll use some of these different looks that I've created, and I've given them crazy names, but let's see. There's Edward Hopper. Okay, which is very flat when you use it by at full strength. But what you do is take the opacity down to maybe 40 or 50%, and you can see it starts to blend the original with the preset. And that gives you some options as to how far you want to take that, just so you get that subtle look. And here's another one. That's the full 100% of the filter, but if you take it down to 40%, then it kind of blends it together. And I try to find the point where it just is on the edge between a painting and a photograph.
Mhm.
Gary, on those, when you, let's say you do Ed Hopper and then you go to the Rembrandt, does it start from scratch, or does it start with, like if you did Hopper first and then you go to Rembrandt, does it then do the Rembrandt on top of the Hopper edits you already?
No, not until you hit apply. So you could do that. I could hit apply here and then take it and put another filter on top of it. But you can go in and test all of these any way you want, and it'll always return it back to the original, work off the original. Here's a Monet.
So you can build one after the other if you want.
You could, yes.
Okay.
It would get kind of messy though, if
Mhm.
you do that, because you can see at 100% what these look like here. This is what I call Monet. And I'll go to 27%, and you see it kind of blends it together.
Mhm.
Gary, how do you save into Studio those presets?
Okay, if you go back to the filters and pick impressions
Mhm.
and do all the different combinations here, then you can go back up to the top, and there's a save look button up here.
Okay,
And you click that, give it a name. And if you change the opacity in the filter, it'll carry that opacity over to your look.
okay,
And then you can combine that with, these other different presets, and there's all kinds of presets here. This is really a good program that, I've been using Topaz for probably 15 years. And this combination really works well for making adjustments. You don't have to go into the artsy stuff. There's different filters here that, just work for adjusting as you might in Camera Raw. So let's see. Probably push too many buttons. Okay. Anyhow, I encourage you to try it. They have a trial. I think it's a 30-day trial where you can go in then and just try some different things. But it's
They have some kind of a Black Friday special going on now too.
yeah.
and I have Studio too, but I didn't know that you could do some of the things you just said. Also, with my new, I got the new Mac Studio also.
Yes.
And had to repurchase, actually I had to repurchase a couple of my softwares. And Studio 2 is no longer showing up as a filter that I can access from Photoshop. You know how you can usually access, your other software programs from Photoshop under filter. I can't access Studio 2, and I've had an online conversation, but they weren't able to fix it. And then I left for the UK, so I got to try to go back. So the only way I can do it now is I just have to open up Studio 2 and throw things in, from there, from the desktop. I can't do it from Photoshop right now.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had a huge problem as well trying to get it to work.
Oh,
And it would run as a standalone.
right.
And where did I find the information on how to do that?
Is this, are you using Windows or
I have Mac.
Apple?
I have Mac.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the same problem and I finally hit
Ah.
it and I got a eureka and I figured out how to do it. And then I couldn't find my favorite settings, and those were, that was a hard thing to find and get that to work. But I actually got it all working. So if I can remember how to do that, I'll send you a note.
Okay, good. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, and Gary,
Yeah.
I want that same note.
Yeah.
You know, I had the same problem, you guys, and Maya did too, and I'll look as well, but I think we still have the email where Topaz sent her to fix it.
didn't
And we actually didn't fix it on hers, but I did on mine.
Okay, yeah, if you can send a.
I'll give a
note.
look. Yeah, it might work for
Okay.
you.
Yeah, because I'm
Thanks.
upgrading in 2 weeks and I'll have the same problem all over again.
Okay, and today when I opened up Photoshop, my new computer is out of commission right now because we're redoing our floors and I had to disconnect it. So I'm in the basement with my old computer. But I had updated Photoshop, and on this computer, I was getting a green screen. And instead of the photo, then I finally fixed that, and the photo wouldn't, I only could see half of my photo in Photoshop. So I had to call Adobe, and he took over my computer, and it took him about 5 minutes, but he was able to fix it. So I don't know if anybody else has had that problem with the new update to Mac and to Photoshop. If you do, Adobe can fix it.
If this is the folder for Adobe Photoshop 2023, and if you look in there, there's a plugin folder underneath Photoshop, and then you'll see the Topaz plugin there. You may have to manually drag it in there.
I tried that.
Okay,
Yep, didn't work.
I think I did too, and that didn't work.
Yep, didn't work.
Okay, somehow I figured it out,
Thanks,
and I will try to remember again, because
Okay.
it was driving me crazy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm guessing the problems are associated with Ventura.
This was before Ventura, because isn't that new?
Yeah,
Yeah, this was because I got my my new computer, I think it was back in July or August.
okay.
July, I think. So that was in the Ventura is just pretty new. So it was before that.
Okay,
There's another folder called application support, and I'm looking for that. Here's where I finally put there's a folder called Topaz Labs LLC, Topaz Studio. And here are all my looks.
Okay.
I copied this twice for some reason. I didn't want to lose it again, so.
It's so scary when you have all of this stuff and then they change something and you're afraid to lose it.
yeah, they're always moving things around.
Yes.
Okay, I only did this a week ago. You would think I remember, but there were so many things missing that I had to go back in and find and reset. It was really a problem, but
Yeah. I'm glad you got it all fixed because it's a nightmare otherwise.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks for going over that, Gary.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you have to experiment with it, don't you know, just try the opacity. When you bring it in, create a layer before you, or a duplicate layer, so that when you bring in the new version, you have the original underneath, and then you can create a mask and start cutting through the top one if you want to bring in more detail in certain areas. So there's a lot of little tricks to that to make it work, and especially the overlays will change it quite a bit too if you're using an overlay blend mode with some of the originals. So I will go back.
Hey, Ron, have you got all 70,000 of those photos edited yet?
Not even close. I think I did, since then, right? It's weird. As soon as the cold weather comes along and we're not traveling, then we're in the studio with models every week. And so the problem just compiles because then, you know, the models get mad when you don't give them photos, unlike the cheetahs.
Mhm.
So I just go deeper and deeper and deeper into the abyss.
It's a challenge.
Yep.
And
Yeah, it
I
is.
find I have, you know, so we had 2 massive trips this year and I get bored of it after a while doing the same, you know, I need to like move on to something different for a little while and then go back to it. But yeah, it starts time. It's
You
larger.
know, part of the problem is that when, you know, like this group right here, I really enjoy this one. And you guys, I always apologize for coming in late, but when we learn new stuff, then I go, oh, wait, you know, I did that photo 2 years ago. I want to go pick that one back up and I re-edit everything. So nothing ever actually gets done, you know, but
Well, and if you shoot a lot of different things in a time period, you don't get time to even go to some of them and you actually forget whole sets of photos.
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. I
Yeah.
still, you know, I had a couple really nice photos in, I guess we were in Masai Mara of the 3 brother cheetahs. And I haven't even been able to find them yet. So
Out of your 75,000.
yeah, I'm kind of in a panic about those, to be honest with
Oh.
you. I got like stacks of chips sitting everywhere and I was using 2 camera bodies and
So
I don't
how
know.
do you handle that volume? Are you running a big RAID array or just,
Yeah, we've got a 32 terabyte Drobo RAID system.
oh, you got a Drobo?
Yeah, you know, they've gone out of business, I think now. So
Yes, that's why today I'm rebuilding a QNAP.
yeah,
because
I'm a little
Drobo
worried
does
about
not-
that, but
Well, it doesn't work under Ventura.
well, we've not had any problems with it yet, but you
Yeah, I'm
know,
worried
I
about
know
it.
it's just right, you're right, it's not being supported going further and some potential issues with that. Probably what I'll do is just set up a server, you know, that's on that one and then
I strongly recommend you consider the QNAP.
Yeah.
Do you know Max Yuriev, Max Tech? He's a YouTuber.
mm-mm.
You might want to just look at a video that he's got on using the QNAP server. But he's having 3 editors doing all kinds of stuff simultaneously off of one QNAP unit. And they're getting incredible speeds up to 3,000.
Yeah, the Drobo is
Way
slower than slow, and I've even got the solid state drive in the bottom of it, you know, for caching and stuff on transfers, and it's
Yep.
still pretty slow. But you know, between Maya and I, the thing is almost full already, and so I got to start thinking about something else. Anyways, we've got a bunch of equipment at work that's kind of overkill for this, but maybe I'll steal that stuff and bring it home. I don't know.
Well, the big thing is I'm thinking that high-speed equipment will allow me to finally go in and weed out 600,000 or 700,000 photos in my lifetime.
Yeah, right.
Because I've
I
got
know I
so
don't
much-
do any editing from the Drobo. I don't know if you do that, but I just dump everything there and it's too slow to try to edit from it.
Yeah, well, that's the
So-
thing where Max had pointed out that they're getting such incredible transfer speeds that he's got 3 guys editing high-end video, you know, 8K and all kinds of stuff. And one unit's enough to do it.
Yeah, if you get a minute, send me an email with
Okay, yeah,
the
because I
link
think,
or something. I'll give it a look.
yeah, the 6-bay unit's like 1,700 and the higher 8-bay is like 2,700, but they're faster than hell.
Yeah. Well, it's the drives, you know, these what are they? They're 12 gig, I guess, or whatever they are, 16 gig or
Well, I put-
terabyte drive rather. And
I put
I don't even know what they are.
618 terabytes in mine,
Yeah, they're, you know, that's what's expensive as hell is them things.
Yeah,
One of these days I'll get to it, but
okay, I'll send you a note. Okay, oops, I got Shobra's coming back in. She had to take her daughter to school. Shobha, you're back with us. Whoops, still connecting to audio. She's new at the club.
Sorry, I got disconnected.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
had to
no
connect back.
problem.
Yeah.
Well, as you can probably see, we talk about a little bit of everything, and sometimes we have in-depth programs.
Yes. All these are a bit of Greek and Latin to me, but still I think I'll catch up with some more.
Trust me, you'll catch up. Several of the people here who are outstanding 2 years ago couldn't run that software. So, no, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you guys, I would not do anything in Photoshop. Never did before you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Learned so much.
and now you're masters at it.
Well, I don't know about that, but do a lot more than I did before, which was nothing. So
And of course, all of these sessions are being recorded and put on my sloppy YouTube site.
you know, it's amazing when you find people who are willing to share like you guys are, and how much of an impact that makes for the photographers that really don't know some things. And just to share real quick, the guy that I had as a photographer guide in the UK, David Spite was his name. And I've had other photographer guides in, you know, over the years. And he was the first one who really taught me something. He also has the Canon R7, R5, I'm sorry, R5. And he's been doing photography for over 20 years. It's very good. And he says to me, do you manual focus? I said, oh heavens, no, I can't see. I can't manual focus. He says, you don't need to see. He says, you can use, he says, I'll show it to you. And he showed me there's these in, if you have the R5 or maybe whatever camera you have does something similar, is as you're manually focusing, there's these little triangles and they'll turn green when it's in focus. And the reason he said to do that with landscape on, you know, when you're using a tripod is because, you know, otherwise you're guessing. Do I go a third into the picture? You know, how far do I go into the landscape so that it's all in focus? Well, with this, you can focus, manually focus one point, and then you can bring that focus point down on different places on your photo, on the landscape. And you press the depth of field button on your camera, and it'll show you if that part's in focus. In addition to focus peaking, it made incredible difference in my pictures, I
Well,
believe.
even just focus peaking is a big deal because
Yeah.
you can rotate it a bit and see where you want in the image, especially if it's a big one like a landscape.
And I knew nothing about that before him. And then he also taught me that in my R5, I can do in camera multiple focuses. What do you call it? Focus stacking.
Focus stacking.
Focus
Yeah,
stack.
you still have to edit it in Photoshop, but I just can tell it, I want 50 photos, or I want 100 photos, or I want 25. And you put it on autofocus and you put it in the corner and away it goes.
Yep.
Didn't know that either. So I really learned a lot from him and the other things besides those few things I mentioned.
Cool.
yeah, I've got the Z9 I'm shooting now, and it's like that where coming from the D5, I just look at the back of it and go through all the menus and try to get to know it. And I'm like, oh my God, all that stuff for multiple exposures and stacking and
Well, the
stuff that I did the old fashioned way. Now it's right in the
Does it
camera.
for you.
I don't know how to use it yet. I've not messed with
well,
it.
one of the
Right.
things on your Z9 is that pre-roll. That's what I call it. I don't know what Nikon calls it, where it's taking pictures before you poke the button.
Mhm.
Really? Wow.
Oh, yeah, so it'll take, I don't know, for so many seconds before. So imagine trying to get a bird in flight. You just wait, when you poke the button, you're a little late, but it doesn't matter because it was already taking pictures.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible camera. It's
Wow.
just the unbelievable amount of functionality in it, you know what's cool about, like this group too, is that when you shoot so many different things, you really learn how to command the camera, because you wind up touching all of that functionality that I suppose if you're just in one genre,
Yeah,
you don't know, like you just said with landscape, if you're in the studio shooting models, you might not even notice that
I
function.
always told people to read your manual every 3 months. So the parts you skipped over, you'll finally figure out, aha, I've been looking for that and didn't know I already had it.
I took a shot the other day. We were in the studio and this guy, it was so funny. He said, hey, does anybody want to photograph me? It was one of the model's husband, actually. And I guess he used to do modeling a long time ago. And nobody answered him. And I felt bad. I was like, okay. He was like a really cool guy. So he came up stairs. I had all my equipment set up. And I said, look, I've got whatever, 45 minutes. So we just started playing. And this guy was just crazy, funny. And he says, he goes, oh, I do a great heel kick, where he jumps up in the air and kicks his heels. So I swear to God, I gave him this little Russian 3-string guitar thing. It's like a triangle. And he puts on, he's got nothing on but a red thong, like a G-string thing. And I'm just going, oh my God, this guy is so funny. And I swear to God, I don't know how I got this shot because the lighting was kind of bad in there. I only had one of the lights had a modeling light on. And he's just moving and he's jumping in the air doing this crazy stuff. And I'm telling you guys, this photo is absolutely tack sharp.
Wow.
And
You'll have to share it next.
Yeah, share that with us when you
oh my
get a
God,
chance.
it's so funny.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, some of the
That's
new-
good.
My
newer,
screen, you guys will get a good laugh out of it.
yeah, some of these newer cameras can see in the dark.
Can I share my screen?
Sure.
I don't know if I know how. Oh, what's it doing? Can you see me?
No.
I see more than meeting Zoom.
They're going around.
You probably can't see my Finder window, can you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, hold it.
Yep.
You can see this?
Yes.
yeah.
Ah!
Oh my God.
Ah,
Oh my Lord.
that's incredible.
That is absolutely tack sharp, you guys. Look
Oh,
at
it
that.
is.
Look at
Oh
that
my God,
glass.
that's hilarious.
Oh my God.
But this
Get the
to
hat.
me,
Yeah, what's with the hat?
I mean, if he
Steampunk.
was, he's
yeah,
the
it's a
model's,
steampunk hat that I gave him.
Steampunk.
so this is a model's husband. What is he doing wearing this?
Well, he wanted to do a modeling shoot and we were just being crazy. And he said, oh, I'm going to go put this outfit on. And I was just like, yeah, whatever.
Oh my God.
So you can see, I got to fix some of the color toning with his body and his legs, because his legs are just so white. I need to match them a little bit. But this to me was really the power of the Z9, where
Yeah.
I don't think I
Wow.
would have got that focus with my other camera.
Mhm.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
You always have a balalaika laying around?
Have what?
A balalaika, that little triangle guitar?
No, when we go and we do these modeling shoots, what I do, a lot of the models are new or they haven't worked in a long time. So what I found is I'll grab 2 or 3 like really nice guitars that we have hanging up around here, and I'll grab some little instruments, something like that they can use for props, and we kind of do a steampunk thing, and they seem more comfortable, you know, when they
Yeah.
have something that they can move with like that versus
Yep.
just posing. So,
Yeah, give
you
them
know, it gives a little bit
anything.
edgier, grungy kind of look to the photos and yeah, but
That was good.
that
Yeah,
guy.
that was good.
so
Thanks for
funny.
sharing.
Oh. Yeah, but you know what's funny about that, you guys, was you've got all of these models there that are sort of, you know, seasoned, a few of them anyways. And I just said, oh my God, my shot of the day was this
Was
guy.
him.
It was the coolest thing. Yeah, that was my keeper.
Goodness. How fun.
Always something cool. I guess you never know, right?
No,
Sure enough.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to, I don't know if it's something I would do a lot of, but just once I'd like to try and shoot in a studio, shoot models. I have an idea of what I want. I definitely know what I want. I don't know how easy it is because I don't know enough about it. But I don't know how you would go about doing that. I haven't a clue.
What do you mean? Just, well, you know, there's like this one, for example, is a photography group that we know in Pontiac. So they have the studio that what they'll do on whatever day, you know, they'll open it up so that there'll be maybe 5 or 6 photographers will come to the studio, and then they might have 8 or 10 models. And then you just say, okay, you know, you hook up with the model. I'm going to shoot with you between this time slot and each one of them. So for your entire day, you might have, you know, 5 or 6 models that you're working with. So, and they want you to move around the building, but I don't like doing that. You know, I want to set my lights up and not move. So in this case, what I did was, you know, they kind of like VIP Maya and I, where they just let us do what we want. So we go upstairs and we set up the backdrop and the lights and stay put, you know, so that we can dial in the lighting. But you get a lot of different personalities, and it's fun because you'll learn a lot with all these different models, you know. But I don't know, I guess the thing to do is to like what I like is to, and Maya's very good at it, is to kind of think up a theme that you like, you know. So for example,
I know what I want to shoot. I mean, I have examples of it. I have it's very specific. I like their headshots primarily, where the model is primarily, you know, you're going to get a half of their face will be illuminated, but the other face is kind of, part of their face is lost
It's
shadow.
split light,
A lot of
yeah.
low light,
Split light's easy. That's a good
split
one.
light or low light. And
I was just talking
I know
to,
ProCam has a studio, and I think you probably have to rent it, but you'd have to hire somebody. Like, all of that is a little just too much for me.
I thought ProCam got rid of that.
Oh,
There's-
really? Maybe.
oh,
I don't know, but I was just talking to Greg Snyder yesterday, and he mentioned he was going to hook up with you sometime, Ron. But he's still interested in doing a model shoot at his studio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
I was
it
gonna
is.
say that Snyder
Yeah.
he'll rent out studio time, and he's got all the lights and stuff
Well,
there. So
he's a permanent member of that studio, so he can use it whenever he wants. And it's set up with every kind of lighting known to man, because the guy who owns it is the lighting guru in the country for Godox. So he has several of everything they make.
yeah,
It's a good
it's
studio.
a nice
setup.
studio.
Well, hopefully that comes to fruition, because I was hoping to go
Yeah.
in October, and it fell. So,
Yeah, I think Greg and I were talking, it would have to probably be January or February now, before we do it, but we get some people together, get some plans, who's gonna shoot. You don't have to have a professional model. You can shoot each other if you want. Have some
Mhm.
costumes. But Greg's done some pretty interesting stuff there. Especially when we do the wigs. I don't know if you've seen any of the wig photos, but those are incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's got some really cool models that he's working with, and the hair and makeup and stuff. It's really nice.
Yeah, so I've been with him on
that
several
would
of
be
those.
fun.
Linda, there's a couple studios in Pontiac as well, you know, that you can go and rent space. They're relatively cheap, but you would need your own lights.
yeah,
You know.
I
Well,
don't even have a flash. I just,
Um, worst case on lighting? I've got all the lighting you need and triggers.
Well, I would like to, learn something first, and I think if this thing works with Greg, that would be great, because
Okay.
hate it, but I'd like to try it at least once and
No,
see.
he's very much open
happens.
for that. He likes doing that.
Yeah,
We've had a lot of fun doing.
I've tried it with my cats, but they're not the easiest to work with. Oh, they give me about split second and that's it.
Yeah, I think if you can do the cat, you're good.
Right.
That should be the benchmark.
Okay, it's been interesting. We're recording this one the same as in the past. Anybody got anything else?
Hi, I just had a question. So
Sure.
during the last time competition, you were judging in the creative, there was one for the leaves. So you did mention that you would discuss on how it was done, the autumn leaves.
Autumn leaves. Was that?
I'm
Oh,
not-
that was Bob's. Bob
Oh,
Hago.
that was one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was done in Topaz Studio 2 also. And I may have selected one of the presets and then I reduce the vibrance or the saturation on it. And I looked for a preset that had that would remove some of the detail in the leaves and the trees. And with that, I also, like Gary did, I blended it in with the original photo below it.
Okay,
That same technique.
Okay.
well,
Yeah, I reduced the saturation also on that.
by the way, we decided, I think earlier, we're not gonna have this meeting next month due to Christmas and all being too close. But for sure, we're gonna have it again in January. And Shobha, make a list of all your questions. We'll be glad to go through them.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
I might be out of town in January.
Well, me too, but we'll figure something out.
Okay,
Okay,
everyone have a good holiday.
yeah, you too, guys. And
Thank you,
Yeah,
you
have a
too.
nice
Ron, I'll
holiday.
send you a link to that NAS guy.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And then I'll look up to see if I can find any of that email correspondence from Topaz showing
Oh,
how
that'd be good.
Oh, good. Thanks.
fix that. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Happy Thanksgiving and
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Gary.
Bye-bye.
You guys.
Bye.
Here.